komme gleich im Zusammenhang mit der Außen- und Sicherheitspolitik darauf noch einmal zu sprechen. Aber liebe Freundinnen und Freunde, die Jahrzehnte der Pax Americana sind für uns in Europa und auch für uns in Deutschland.
Hello everyone, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome on my channel Chill Light. We would appreciate your support. We are starting a new channel where we can discuss, talk and debate about world events going on. And right now, this man, he's the Chancellor of Germany, who is warning Europeans that the Pax Americana is now over. Each country must defend itself. Otherwise, the world is changing, rapidly changing, and there is no one to defend another one. Everyone by his own. Friedrich Merz, while speaking at his party, Christian Democrats in Germany, warns Germans, but also Europeans, that the Pax Americana, which is long time a way of America might power to defend Europe, is now over. I mean, in his only words, he said that now Americans are now very, very aggressively pursuing their own interest, and that it will be really hard for Europeans to trust and believe that United States will come to defend them in a difficult time. And he's calling upon the Europeans to find a way to fight collectively for Europe interests. And he kind of talked about the past, German past, saying like militarization of German was, from the Second World War, Germany was prohibited to militarize itself again. And it had a couple of military forces to uphold. But now the Chancellor says it's all over. Germany must defend itself when it comes to anything, to any threat. And that American Pax is long time over. And that America is no longer a trustable partner that can defend Germany. So, there is an arms race around the world and everything is changing. So, we're going to talk about in this weekend, we're going to talk about the German Chancellor warning Germans that the American past is over and over, and that there is no other defense for Europeans apart of them and themselves. President Trump warned Europeans that if they keep playing with the Ukrainian conflict, they will end up with the Third World War. And we are seeing a lot of forces being arms races around the world. For example, in Venezuela, in DRC, Republican Democratic Congo, in Ukraine, in Syria, we're going to talk about this. In Gaza, Israel shot one of the Hamas leader, Raid Saad, even if it's a ceasefire. So it's really, really going crazy around the world. So let's not talk about this. We're going to talk about the end of American Pax in Europe. A Pax that was for the defense of Europe in terms or in case Europe is threatened. It would be defended by America. But now the Chancellor of Germany, the third powerful country in the world, is declaring the Pax Americana is over and should defend ourselves. We should militarize again. We should bring the might power of Germany so that we can fight by ourselves. That's it. So we're going to talk about also Israel kills Hamas leader despite a ceasefire in Gaza Strip. The unclassified video shows a precision strike on a car which allegedly was carrying Raid Saad, one of the Hamas commanders, in a way. So we're going to talk about the war between the US and Venezuela is also possible with boots on the ground. Reports suggest America's gathering forces ready to enter Venezuela's soil, and Maduro is kind of threatened to leave Venezuela. And also we're gonna see about Michigan story. You remember yesterday I told you about Michigan story about a man who cheated his wife, whom he had 3 kids, and then after cheating, $6 million disappeared or lost in one night. Can you imagine? This man was the head coach of Western Michigan football team, and what happened? It's like he had an executive assistant whom he had a secrecy relationship or an affair. That's how at least the reports say. But it was discovered, if you check at the CNN, it was discovered that this man actually might be a victim of a long time prejudices by the University of Michigan athletic department, because before him, many people were fired, were bad treated, and that's exactly what is going on. So, for example, this department from the Western University, Michigan, chose not to renew the contract of its main ice hockey coach, Mel Pearson. This is in the same year. Suspended also its main head basketball coach, Joan Howard, after he smacked an opposing assistant coach. He fired also Matt Vice, investigated Howard, benched its then head football coach, Jim Harbaugh. So which means actually it's kind of like a pattern. So, and in the end, this man actually, whom the university staff allegedly accused of having a secret affair with his assistant, which made him lose the contract of $6 million in one night. So this man actually seems like a setup. It seemed, for me, like my opinion, it seems like a setup. So we're gonna talk about also this in general. President Trump vows retaliation by U.S. after 2 American soldiers, civilian, killed in ambush in Syria. Actually, most people wondered, like, are we still in Syria? Really? We thought we don't have any forces in Syria. But yeah, for your information, American soldiers are still in Syria. So on his way to the Army-Navy game in Baltimore, President Trump told reporters the U.S. would retaliate and the country will mourn the loss of 2 American soldiers and civilians killed in ambush attack in Syria Saturday. Reports suggest ISIS is behind the attack and the United States has vowed for a strong retaliation. So we're going to also talk about Candace Owens, who is warning the people, her followers, that the possible electronic digital disease or warfare is possible. According to the sources she got from the WEF, World Economic Forum, she argues that the World Economic Forum have warned people about the coronavirus and before the coronavirus was about to come. And then now she's saying the World Economic Forum is also like warning people of digital disease. I don't know what they mean by digital disease or electronic warfare, and people must be ready for everything. So that's it. You are welcome to Cheu Light. We appreciate if you can really subscribe and stay with us, connect with us. And we discuss here money, politics, and businesses. Right now we are talking about politics, of course. So let's go back to Europe, where the Pax Americana, or the alliance that says anytime Europe is attacked or threatened, American would go there and defend them. This Americana Pax is over, and Chancellor Merz of Germany, which is the first powerful country in Europe, warned its people, the German people, that it's no more over, that Germany should stand by its own feet, militarized the country, and also busted that Germany is not small, it's really big, and it can compete on international level. And that's what is going on, actually. It's kind of like everywhere it's arms race. Everywhere it's arms race. There is conflict around the globe. Everyone is fighting. This one is fighting that. That one is fighting this. And actually, one of my university lecturer told me, wherever you are analyzing the conflict, always follow the money. Follow the money. How do you follow the money? Follow the money because in every conflict, there is beneficiaries and the losers. And beneficiaries, in most cases, they are behind the curtains. They are opaque. They don't appear in a big screen. No. People are fighting, but behind them, the one who is pushing them to fight is someone who's benefiting the war. Some people say it's like the military industry complex, and so and forth. But also there's also economic. For example, let me bring you to the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. Rwanda is Congo fighting its own people, or M23 rebels. Yeah? But behind the labels, there is multinational corporate companies fighting to have access for rich minerals on cheaper price. Otherwise, if it's controlled by the government, then we have to pay the price, then we have to pay like the higher price, they have to pay taxes and so on and so forth. So, but they want things cheap. They want a battery. They want those critical minerals for the batteries, for phones like this one, and so on and so forth. And this is really complicated somehow. And when you analyze the conflict, sometimes when you are short-sighted, you might think, these people are fighting because they don't understand each other, because it's an ethnic group, because it's this and this. No, that's not right at all. Actually, it's multinational corporate companies, which are also pushed by some Western states, but also Middle East states, everyone. They sponsor them, they give the money, they give the weapon, and they go and fight. And as long as they size or occupy a territory rich in minerals, they then enter the business deal to sell on cheaper price those critical minerals from there. That's exactly what happens. I don't know how I'm talking especially this case because I'm from that region, the Great Lakes of Africa, the Great Lakes region of Africa. Yeah, I'm from that region, and that's why I can talk substantively about this conflict. But in Ukraine, I have no idea. I don't know what Russia wants or aims to have in Ukraine. I don't know what Ukraine is gaining in the conflict. And in Venezuela, I don't know what the United States wants. I don't know what Venezuela wants. I don't know why they want to fight. But what I've heard from the United States is the President Maduro of Venezuela is a narco-terrorist leader, which are the threat to national security of the United States. That one, I'm aware of that. So, yeah, let's keep going. I wanna talk about the Syria issue because, the Trump vows retaliation after 2 American soldiers and 2 civilians were killed in ambush in Syria. And Trump, in his way to Army-Navy game in Baltimore, President Trump told reporters that America will respond, will retaliate with strong forces that will inflict pain to those people who committed this heinous act of terrorism to the American soldiers. So I might say that, and I might say that terrorism has never been good to the people. No matter what, what is your reason to commit a terrorism is not really, really good. It's not at all. I don't know why people commit terrorism. Why? Why do you want to kill people? Why exactly? And that this is really bad for everyone. I think, what else? Let's listen some music. and then we can continue this way. We are back to Western Michigan head coach affairs with allegedly her executive assistant affairs, which costed him actually 6 million, 6 million in one night. So how it began, that's the story we're gonna focus on in this episode. How it really started. It's funny and interesting. Actually, the story begins with this Western Michigan University football head coach, allegedly having an affair with his executive assistant. And then it's reported that the affair didn't go well, and the lady or the girl, his side chick, didn't want to continue the affair. So what she did, she went home and didn't want to respond anymore to the guy. And the guy texted, gave her many calls, and the girl, no reaction. Silence. And what happened then? The the head coach, the Western Michigan Western Michigan University football head coach, then decided to go to his side chick house apartment. So when he arrived there, it's reported that he threatened this executive assistant of his, and eventually this executive assistant then reported the incident to the police, and then the police starts investigation. However, now investigators are critical to the one single side story narrated by the Michigan State University, Western Michigan State University, but also by the executive assistant. So, and they started with a critical question. What really happened with Morey? Is it serious or an isolated case incident, or a symbol of broader and culture within the walls of Michigan Athletic Department? That's it. That is, in essence, what the investigator from the Washington DC-based law firm Jennifer and Block are trying to determine, because it was discovered that the Western Michigan State University Athletic Department fired, accused, threatens, and did a lot of stuff before even getting to Morey. So which means the affair case is not isolated, and it's not an incident. They found a pattern that previously most other coaches have been fired. Their contracts were ended without any explanations. Actually, that there is a lot of issue in the administration of the Western Michigan University Athletic Department. So what happens? What I heard is that actually when there is something they call Michigan Man, and Michigan Man means long time ago they decided that they will be recruiting only for people who are originated in Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, by the way. So, and This is because at one time they had a coach who was not from Michigan, and then he left the team when the team was at the stage of winning a trophy. And in this case, they decided, no, we should employ people from Michigan, in which terms they referred Michigan man. Michigan man. And this is exactly the investigation going on. Was More a victim of the Western Michigan University Athletic Department mismanagement, or was the affair real, or it was a setup to fire and trap the Western Michigan football head coach? This is where we're gonna end our episode. Thank you so much. We made you, this is to remind you that we toured the whole world conflict in New World Order. We talked about Venezuela, US conflict. We also talked about the conflict in Congo and how multinational corporate companies are also part of the conflict there. We also talked about the terrorism, 2 American soldiers killed in Syria in a terrorism event. We talked about also the German Chancellor warning Germans that the Pax Americana is over and they should defend themselves from now on. My name is Cheu, and this is the Cheu Lead. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your likes and your comments. Please let us know what we have to improve. We are starting this channel, and we are trying to be fair and discusses everything that that we found relevant to our community. Bye bye. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.